What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Tech Cubed. And today, we are going to be taking a look at a new distribution of Linux that we have not taken a look at before. Now, this is called MX Linux. I don't know much about it. However, we are going to be installing it in VirtualBox today and getting a good look at it and at the installation process and basically what it's about, what it's supposed to do. So the most I know about it is pretty much that it's supposed to be a lightweight distribution of Linux that still has some nice features that would be very useful, as well as some nice UI elements. But of course, where it could run on systems that are not as advanced as some others that may need for to run higher end distributions of Linux. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So here's the website for MX Linux right here. So it's a family of operating systems that are designed to combine elegant and efficient desktops with high stability and solid performance. And MX Linux's graphical tools provide an easy way to do a wide variety of tasks. So basically, again, it kind of sums up what I said. It's supposed to be able to run on systems that, again, may not be the most high end hardware, but it's again supposed to be able to provide you with a very stable, solid experience. So, it also goes over here, low resource, while being attractive, user friendly. It also goes over has a modular core components for fast functionality expected from a modern desktop environment. A combination of powerful and handy MX tools that cover a range of actions from boot options to repository management. So, I guess without further ado, let's get installing it. So, in VirtualBox over here, we are going to install it. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you already know how this works. If you use VirtualBox 4, we're just going to go to New, set my custom folder I want it to be installed in, MX Linux for the name, the ISO image, I have it saved right here. So the edition, let's see, it is Linux. Let me click on that. Um, so also, you may notice that this is a newer version of VirtualBox that I have not shown on the channel before because it just got released not too long ago. However, this is supposed to be a more advanced version of VirtualBox we've gone over previously. I was planning on making a video about it, but I decided it wasn't really worth delving into in its own video because it's not a complete overhaul. It's just designed to be have better UI, more stable, whatnot. So what we're going to do another version of Linux that is 64-bit. So that should be all right. Let's go for memory. Let's set it for I think 8 gigs of memory would be good. Let's see, processors. I want to do two. Of course, we'll dual core. For the hard disk, I want to go for a solid. I think 32 gigabytes will be enough. Like two processor cores, 8 gigs of memory, 32 gigs of storage. I think will be well, of course, not the highest end hardware, but again, this is not supposed to be able to run on some lower end hardware. So I guess we'll see, right? So now let's get it started up and we will see. As you saw there, we did not actually have to go into any of the settings to actually get like the ISO image in there because a lot of it is incorporated into um, the not the installer, but when you're setting up your virtual machine, when you're setting a new one, a lot it's incorporated into there. A lot of that now in the settings, so you can do that from there. You don't necessarily have to go into settings and do a lot of that now, because again, this is VirtualBox 7.0. So let's see here. I want to capture this. So let's go MX. Well, let's see. Yeah, boot from hard drive memory test. Yeah, let's go back here and let's see how straightforward the installation process is. Okay, so it already seems to be starting up pretty well here. So, all right. So it seems to be one of these. It'll run is kind of a sample. It'd give you a sample, basically, which is a stripped down version of the operating system designed to kind of show you some of the features about it. That's kind of what it's doing here. However, let's see how well. Oh, so it is automatically adapting. Okay, so let's see if I go to bring it more full screen. Oh, it will work out like that. Okay. Does that mean I can do full screen mode and it'll switch automatically? Okay, so that right off the bat, I want to throw this out there. It's a wonderful feature because not all operating systems do this so easily. But this one goes into full screen without any problems. I didn't need any extra drivers. So that's a good start in my books. So let's go to the installer here, check installation media. I don't think we need to do that. But already, I want to throw this out there. So again, we're running with 8 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, and 2 processor cores, and it seems to be running really well. So let's start it up here. Yes, 32 gig storage, format, and use the entire disk. So now it will just go through the installation process, and we'll see how long it takes. I don't think it'll take an incredibly long amount of time. This is a pretty small ISO, and again, we're just doing like this drive, the virtual drive it's running off of is just 32 gigs, so it shouldn't take that long. But we'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see how long it takes. Okay, so we are back, and man, I want to say that installation took less than 10 minutes, probably closer to 6 minutes after everything was said and done. So we were booting up for the first time, as you can see here, and that was a very quick installation. So when I went through the installation, um, very fast, and then asked for my username, a password, a root password I could set, my local time zone. That was about it. There was not a whole lot of setup to go through. And first thing right off the bat, I want to say this operating system does seem to be very stable in my experience, because a lot of operating systems will not run this well in my experience when it's just two processor cores, 8 gigs of RAM, and a hard drive, and it's all running off of your main computer, the host computer, because it's a virtual machine. So that's a great start. Now, I imagine that when VirtualBox updated to 7.0, they did include a decent amount of stability and performance increases. However, it compared to previously, and just as operating system as a whole, it runs very well. I am genuinely impressed as to how well this runs compared to some other Linux distributions I have tested in VirtualBox. So I do imagine it's a combination of how stable this particular distribution is with some patches that VirtualBox themselves did to their program. But again, very impressed so far as to the performance. So here we are, just finished installing, and it's giving welcome, manual, tools, all that good stuff. So let's take a quick look here. So again, it already did give us a sample, right? Some operating systems, especially Linux distributions, will kind of give you a sample, and then give you the option to install it. Not all do, some do. This particular one did. But when we're looking here, it does kind of remind me of Windows a little bit with the kind of knockoff start menu it has going on here. So we can look through here. So got my username up there, settings, lock, power, I imagine. It has favorites, all applications, and then kind of your settings, Office, all that good stuff. It has the LibreOffice suite, which is personally one of my favorite open source programs. LibreOffice is a really good Microsoft Office alternative, in my opinion. And we have some multimedia stuff like VLC, what's the internet, Firefox, which if you also watch my previous videos or know anything about me, I am also a pretty big fan of Firefox, so that's pretty cool as well. So graphics as well. We have a document scanner, some games. We have a few simple games in here, and then a few accessories. So we have the Calculator. Interesting, not calculator, Calculator. So we have a few programs in here, right? Of course, every operating system is going to come with a few programs built in. These are the ones for MX Linux. And so let's take a look here. So settings, Office. Let's see. Let's see how well some of these work. Let's try the LibreOffice Writer. So how well do they run? Right? Because again, lightweight distribution. Let's see. So it seems to be working pretty well so far. Let's try see if we can import some like a box. Wow, that's the box if I've ever seen one. So it does seem to be running pretty well. I want to make that clear. Does seem to be running pretty well so far. Not much lag speaking whatsoever. So again, admittedly, this is a word processor. So maybe that was a bad example. Let's try something else. Let's try. Let's try a game. Let's try Peg E. Never played Peg E before. Well, there's not much lag here, even though I'm not quite sure what's going on because I never played this game before. So it does seem to be running pretty well, though. So, admittedly, those programs may have been bad examples, but it is running pretty well, all things considered, from what I know so far, at least compared to some of the other programs or other distributions of Linux. So, we can do 8 times 8. Wow, it's 64. So, let's see how well the web browser works, right? So that is a big thing. That was something that also impressed me. was the fact that you did not need any drivers, any tweaking whatsoever to get it to run in my native 16 by 9 aspect ratio. Which is what most Windows computers will be running off of. Some, if you're using like a laptop or something, or an older monitor, you may have like a 16 by 10 or like a 4 by 3, which that's pretty older and uncommon now. But it worked, right? It did not need any drivers, any tweaking, which was really nice because some will need some tweaking. Some I've just had very difficult time getting to run at 16 by 9 at all, to the point where I couldn't get to work even in the end. Admittedly, some of the ones are way more difficult where operating systems that were not necessarily built to run, especially in a virtual machine. Like some of my distributions of Mac OS, I had a lot of trouble getting to run in anything but the resolution that it was running in to begin with. But, I mean, you gotta take the ones where you can get them, right? This one, right off the bat, works in the 16 by 9 aspect ratio, and it seems to work pretty well. So, let's see. Let's try and open Firefox here. Let's go to google.com. And it works. So it looks like it's already running off of the internet driver and it's using like a virtual Ethernet connection, which I believe is what this will be running off of, to give you an internet connection and give you working internet experience. So let's actually check that really quick. I am curious. Uh, Network configuration, wired connection. Yeah, so it's a wired Ethernet connection, which it's not really because it's running from your host computer, but it's a virtual Ethernet connection, if that makes any sense, because that's how it runs. Because even if you're using Wi-Fi, right? I feel like I'm explaining this really bad, but if you're using Wi-Fi, it will still act like it's using Ethernet because it's running from your host machine. So that makes sense. That's normal. So let's see. Let's go to. Let's see. Wow. This is a cool channel right here, guys. You should go subscribe to this channel, definitely. But the internet seems to be working. I will throw that out there. So let's see. Let's see what it has to welcome us. So frequently asked questions. Let's see. So tools. What tools does it have? I am curious about this. So it has a live USB maker. So if you put USB in here, I am curious how if VirtualBox did update that when they did their update recently, where if you use a USB, if they made the integration of that into your virtual machine any easier, because I remember that was somewhat of a pain to get working before. So I imagine that would be interesting to kind of tweak with. You can even get NVIDIA driver installer. So interestingly enough, in here it says that there's no NVIDIA card found, which I do have an NVIDIA card in the system. I'm running this off of my host computer, but that is interesting how it says there's no NVIDIA card found. Now, admittedly, it is, if I remember correctly, similar to the Wi-Fi situation where basically says it's using a generic graphics adapter, like an integrated graphics situation, because it doesn't know because it's not running on your host. But or it's not your host. It is running off your host, but it's not your host. But yeah, so it says no NVIDIA card found. Now that makes sense. But I was curious if something was going to show up here, like it was actually going to find some sort of NVIDIA card, but it couldn't install drivers for it. But no, I guess it just actually could not find drivers at all, or the card at all. Now, so let's see. This looks like translator. That translator? Huh, interesting. All right. Well, it has the Google Translate icon. It looks like right here. So let's see about. We can see about. So this is MX 23.2 support until June of 2028. So yeah, you will get a decent amount of support out of this, right? You know you're getting updates for at least from time of recording this, at least over a little over 4 years. So we can do cleanup, right? Which of course you're running low on storage you would want to do. User manager, because I have one user on here which is also the administrator slash root account, but you could also add extra users in here that maybe don't have root privileges. But all in all, This really does seem like a nice version of Linux. I really do appreciate what they've done on here so far. This really does seem like a version of Linux that I could see myself recommending to someone that maybe has like an older Windows computer and they're looking to still use it, but they don't want to run Windows on it anymore because it's too demanding of the system resources because of the updates recently. I could really see myself recommending this to someone. I do want to use a little more, see what more it has to offer, but this is again really just a first impression, and I will say it was a really good first impression. The Wi-Fi worked right out of the box. It ran in 6:9 aspect ratio right out of the box. Very easy installation, and it does seem to be running pretty well, all things considered. So, thank you for watching this video, and kind of watching me go through the installation and the first looks of MX Linux, which this is my first time really getting to see what MX Linux is, because even though it's 10 years old, I've really not heard much about it or installed it in any virtual machine before. But again, I am interested in learning more about this, maybe using a little more, getting some stuff to run on it. But again, thank you all for watching this video. If you have any comments, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. I do like reading your guys' comments. Any suggestions, possibly, for what you would want to see for future video. Maybe something that involves MX Linux. But I will see you all in the next video. TechCubed, over and out.